Hello. So this class is all about finding strength within. We're often stronger than we think we are. And in this class, we'll be tapping into that strength inside of us as we explore some gentle movement. And we'll really be exploring how we can turn the volume up and get a little bit more out of these poses when we want to. So we'll start on our backs, coming down into a Shavasana position, letting the legs extend out in front of you. Or we could always make more of a pyramid shape, bringing the feet wide and letting the knees fall in towards each other. Now, wherever you are, just start to let the body settle a little bit closer towards the earth. Taking these next few moments to tune in and notice how you feel. We'll start to bring our focus to our breath without changing anything. Start to notice how it moves within you. Pay attention to where it feels like the breath is reaching and what is beyond that reach. And we'll explore our capacity to breathe a little deeper. And with your next few inhales, start to focus on breathing from side to side. So breathing out into the sides of the ribs. We could even bring our hands there for a few moments. Each inhale, if the hands are there, you could feel that pressure into the hands as the lungs and the ribs expand to make room. Full breaths here. And you can let that go. And this time, with each inhale, focus on expanding front to back. Sending your breath forward and backward. And lastly, we'll focus on breathing up and down. Each inhale expands the breath as it moves both up and down. Up towards the throat, down towards the pelvis. And lastly, we'll put it all together. Breathing side to side, front to back, up and down. Feel this capacity within you. The more we tune into the fullness of our breath, the easier it is to channel our strength, channel our energy. We'll take one more breath here. And we'll draw the knees in towards the body. You can rock a little from side to side, giving a small massage to the low back. We'll bring our feet down to the earth and letting the right knee hug in, drawing it nice and close. The left foot can stay in by the seat, or it can always extend nice and long. Wherever you are, full breaths. And then we'll bring the hands to the back of that leg now. And we'll start to extend the heel up towards the sky. So the heel is lifting up and we're flexing the toes. So they're not pointing upward, the toes are pointing down towards the face. Start to add a bit of pressure, pressing hands into leg, leg into hands. Now we're going to let the leg completely and fully relax. And then start to straighten out through the leg. Pressing hands into leg, leg into hands. Kick through the heel, toes towards your face. And then relax. We'll take an inhale on this relaxation. And as we exhale, straightening through the leg, find the activation through the hamstrings, through the back of the leg. Each inhale, we relax. And each exhale, we look for that more active sensation. So this is all about starting to play with both ends of the spectrum. Play with what it feels like to be fully relaxed. Play with what it feels like to be fully engaged. I'll take one more. And the next time we extend up through the legs, we'll pause here, kicking out through the heel, toes to your face. Let's take one full breath. Let it go. And we'll switch sides. So this time the left knee draws in. We start with that wind relieving pose. Hands can be on the shin or underneath the leg. We draw it in tight. And always the option to extend the other leg. Whatever feels comfortable for you. And then we'll bring our hands behind the leg as we start to kick the heel up towards the sky, straightening the legs. We press hands into leg, leg into hands, kicking out through the heel. And then we'll release that down. Fully relax the leg. Let the heel come towards your seat. And then moving with the breath. Inhale here. And exhale, we straighten. We find that engagement. Inhale. And exhale. So move with your breath. And see if you can feel those two poles. Maybe even close your eyes. Feel what it feels like to be fully relaxed and to be engaged. We'll take one more here. And the next time the leg lifts, we'll pause there for a moment, full breath. Let it go. And let the feet come to the ground. Pause for a moment. Legs can be extended if you like. Just notice any shifts, any changes in your body. We'll roll to one side or the other. We find a fetal pose. One or both arms will cradle the head. And we'll start to slowly press our way up to a tabletop. You know, always pad up under the knees, bringing a blanket there. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Spread the fingers wide. And we'll start to bring mobility into our spine. By taking a few rounds of cat-cow. On the inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart. And on the exhale, reverse that curve, gaze to the belly, press the hands into the mat. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart. And on the exhale, changing that curve. Move here with your breath. Let's take one more round. Whenever you've finished, we'll come back to our tabletop position. Start to draw in around the waistline, finding an engagement through the core. And we're just going to move this time the upper portion of our spine. So we'll let the heart drop towards the ground as the arms stay straight. The shoulders are going to go up towards the sky as the heart drops. And on the exhale, press the ground away. Spread the skin between the shoulder blades. So we drop the heart, arms are straight, and then we press the ground away, spreading the skin between the shoulder blades. Take a few rounds of this. So the scapular push-up is helping us start to strengthen and really feel the deep stabilizing muscles of our shoulders. Let's take just a few more. Nice straight arms. Letting the heart drop and then lifting it. We'll take one more here. Good. Find a child's pose. Take a few breaths into our low back. Knees can always come a little bit wider. We can always bring something underneath the forehead so that it feels rested. Relaxing the shoulders. Relaxing the body. Always the option to bring props under the seat as well. We've got one more breath here. And we'll come all the way back up to a tabletop. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Find that firm foundation. We're going to start to sneak our right foot behind us. So the core is engaged. We're pressing our hands into the ground. And the ball of the right foot is on the ground to start. Feel the belly button hugging up towards the spine and feel that sense of spaciousness across the low back. We want to keep that as we start to lift the right leg up. So it might stay a little lower, maybe only an inch or two off the ground, keeping the spaciousness in the low back. You can always bring the foot back down. Or for a little more challenge, we might start to float the left arm out in front of us. We can imagine that someone's hand is on the inside of our left thigh and we're pressing into that hand. Feeling the strength now in the left leg as well. One more breath and let it go. Let's take a deep, full breath. Inhale, full exhale. And we'll do the other side. Spread the fingers wide. Find the core. Start to slide that left foot behind you, pressing into the ball of your foot. Hugging the belly button up towards the spine. And from here, we could start to float the left foot. Can always come back to the earth. The hands can stay here, or we can extend the right arm out in front of us. When we think about pressing into the inside of our left thigh, full breaths. Let that full capacity of the lungs support you here. And then let that go. Find your table. We're going to come towards standing. So you can get there in any way that works for you. We might step one foot forward and then the other. We'll come all the way up to standing. Come to the front of our space and we'll find our mountain pose. So we're relaxing the shoulders down our back, palms face forward, pressing down through the feet. Close your eyes for a moment and find a little bit more strength in this pose. So we can think about pressing down through all four corners of the feet. We can also think about finding this oppositional movement. So the shins rotate inward as the thighs rotate outward. So think about creating two opposing spirals in the legs, helping to create stability around the knee joint. See if you can keep drawing that strength all the way up your body, all the way to the top of your head. Draw the jawline back, stand nice and tall. Full breaths here. We'll bring our hands to our hips. Open the eyes if they're closed. We'll take a big step back now with our left foot. So we're coming into warrior two. Big step back with the left foot. It's parallel to the short end of the mat. We've got a deep bend in the front knee. If the knee crosses the ankle, we just slide the feet a little wider apart. We'll let the arms come up. And we'll press down through the feet, both through the inside and the outside of the feet, as the hips and pelvis sink low. Now, sometimes when I do this pose, I focus on lightness in my arms. But let's focus today on finding a little bit more strength through the arms. So we'll flip the palms up towards the sky. And I want you to begin to take a bicep curl. Feel that front of the upper arm engage. Keep that engagement, hugging in right there where you feel it as you extend the arms out. Now you could keep the palms facing up here, or we can flip them towards the ground, but we keep the engagement. So now feel that work in the arms. But see if you can relax the shoulders even as you keep hugging in the biceps. Let's take one more breath. And then we'll reverse our warrior today. So bringing left hand to left hip, we flip the palm up if it's not already there, and we can start to reach up and back. Now, many of us are going to start to lift the rib. See if we can keep the bottom rib hugging in and down so you feel the core supporting your low back here. Reaching the hand behind you, heart spins towards the sky, and the gaze can be down or up. Now keep powering through your legs. We're holding this a little longer through our legs. Working to bring some fatigue to our muscles. Take one more breath. And then we're gonna float all the way up. We'll pivot to the other side. Warrior two on the other leg. So deep bend into the knees. You can always wiggle that back foot further back. Arms will come up. We relax the shoulders. We really focus on pressing our feet down into the earth as we grow a little taller. Reach the fingers away from each other and flip the palms. Start to take that bicep curl. Hug in right at that bicep as you straighten through the arms, but keep the engagement. And you could stay here, or you could flip the palms back to the ground, still hugging in right at the upper arm. Now, one more breath here. And we could now flip the palm. If it's not already there, bring the back hand to the hip, start to reach up and over, but keep the bottom rib hugging in and down. So there's that same sense of spaciousness in the low back that we found in our table pose. Yeah, good. Find a place for the gaze. Press down through the legs, and then come all the way back up to warrior two. Walk the feet in towards each other. And we're going to come and step at the front of our mat. We're going to play with a balancing sequence, bringing a little bit more fatigue into the legs, working our muscles. And it'll start with tree pose. So from our mountain pose, we can root down through the feet, and we can start to shift our weight over to the right. That left foot can start to come to the ankle, or it could come to the shin and the calf. Now, right away, I want us to bring our focus to the supporting leg. You could even bring your right hand to the side of your right seat and think about drawing that muscle in closer to your midline. It's like you're lifting up through the leg. Yeah, so we start to work with our glute med here, helping to support and strengthen this muscle. Now, hands could always stay on your glute for feedback, or they could come to prayer. We're gonna keep that glute hugging inward as we start to turn our left leg from a turned out to a parallel position, lifting up to 90 degrees for stork pose. Keep hugging in right at the midline. And we could stay here, or one more option to play today. You could start to tilt backwards with the legs as the upper body comes forward, coming to play with a warrior 3. Now, it doesn't have to be the most intense warrior 3 today. We can keep that leg low to the ground or even balance with the big toe, or you're always welcome to come a little deeper. If you fall out, that's okay. Just come back up. Keep hugging in with that right hip. And then we'll let that go. Bring the feet back, hip points distance apart. So we'll do the same thing on the other side, but take a moment just to pause. You probably feel it in your glute. Just noticing that sensation, and send a deep breath there. And let's do the other side together. So we'll start to shift the weight into the left foot. The right foot finds a spot for tree pose. And be on the ground, the shin and the calf, anywhere except the knee. And we could bring our left hand to the outside of the left glute. And what we want to feel is that muscle turn on and engage as we hug it towards midline. Yeah. And now it might feel like the glute is a little more rock solid or working towards that direction. We keep that engagement in the left side of the glute as we start to turn the right leg, coming parallel up to 90 for a stork pose. Hands can come to hips. Now we could always stay here, or we start to float the leg behind us, tilting forward. Keep that glute engaged as you come into your version of warrior 3. So we can always keep the toe on the ground, or we level the hips, coming a little lower. Full breaths. And come all the way back up. We're going to make our way down onto the ground, and we will use a block here. Or if you don't have a block today, we could always roll a blanket. That can work too. I'm going to come onto our backs. I'm going to spin around so that my head is on this side. And we'll bring the block right in between the knees. So the block is coming in between the knees. Our feet are hip points distance apart, and they're walking in towards the seat. We're using the block today with bridge pose to help us find even more strength in our glutes. So arms by the side body, palms pressed down into the mat. We're going to start to press into the feet, and as soon as you start to lift the spine off the ground, we're pressing the knees into the block as you lift the hips. And we can lower back down, relaxing the knees, relaxing the spine. And then we'll lift, pressing and squeezing right in on that block as you come up. Relax as you lower. So again, we started class by playing with the polarity of strength and ease. See if you can find it here. Find strength as you lift. Full engagement. And as you exhale, see if you can relax as much as possible. Let's do one more here. Oh, exhale to lower. We'll pause for a moment, bring the block to the side. And then we're going to bring our block on either the lowest or the medium height, and it's going to slide behind our sacrum. And again, if you don't have a block, we just want to be lifting the sacrum up at least 3 or 4 inches, so you can find something around your house that's that height. So we're going to lift the hips and slide the block underneath. Mine is on the middle height. And our feet are walking in. Now what we'll start to do is we'll engage the core, hugging in around the waistline. Imagining like there's a corset hugging nice and tight. You're going to draw your left knee in towards the body. And at any point in time, this left leg can come back down to the ground. And we'll start to straighten through the right. So straightening through the right leg. The right heel is kicking out, the toes towards your face. And we're lowering this right leg down so that we can see the toes. It's about a straight line from shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle. Now kick out through the foot and start to go down an inch and up an inch. So just going down an inch and up an inch. It's small. If you watch my foot, it might look like I'm barely moving. We want it to be a small range of motion, focusing on the core and the flexing of the foot. What we're doing here is helping to build core strength. And we're also strengthening and lengthening our psoas muscle, which is a part of our hip. And this is a really great way to do this work, all while having support under the low spine. It tends to make it more accessible. We've got just a little bit longer here. If you wanted to bring this right leg lower down, make sure the core is still engaged. You're kicking out through the heel. We go just down an inch and up an inch. Remember, at any point in time, this left foot can come to the ground. Drawing the core in. And then we'll bring both feet to the ground. Take a moment just to notice any changes, any differences. So the more we strengthen certain areas of the body, especially the core, the glutes, this muscle, the psoas, we're able to bring release and relaxation to some of the areas of the body where we might have injury and pain. The low back can be a big one. We'll do the other side, so drawing the right knee in towards the chest, hug in around the core. Feel that corset, or that idea of a corset hugging tight. And the left leg is going to extend up out in front of you, toes towards your face, flexing the foot. One straight line, shoulder, hips, knee, ankle, toes towards your face. And start to go down an inch, up an inch. So it's really small, tiny range of motion. It's this small range of motion that's helping us strengthen. And it's the flex through the foot that's helping us lengthen here. Yeah, so this muscle, the psoas, tends to be tight and weak. So we're both strengthening and lengthening, a pretty great combination. Yeah, now you can stay up here, or you might come a little lower with the leg as long as you can keep the abdominal engagement going up an inch, down an inch. Really small. Yeah. Just a few more. And then we'll let that go. Let both feet come to the ground. Press up in to the hips. Remove the block. And just extend. Find yourself in a final resting pose. Let's take a few breaths here together. Deep inhale. Big sigh. 2 more. Inhale. Release. 1 more inhale. Let it go. Find as much ease as possible here. Part of developing our strength is knowing when to rest. You worked hard with this practice. Let yourself sink into a state of rest. You might stay here a little longer. We'll close our practice on our backs. Welcome to stay here as long as you like. Namaste.